uh, hear us and see us. Yes, it is, Mr. Blonde. It is. All right. It looks like your mom is here too, but I'm not seeing all the chat yet. We've got a couple of different chats going, it looks like. Okay, so Mr. Blonde, I saw Derek and a Liz, and I saw
there's Michelle,
the
Finleys,
Ryan. All right, guys, how's everybody doing tonight? Let me make this bigger so we can see more of what's going on. Hopefully. There we go. Is that better? Can't even see you. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Darian, what part of Georgia did you move to?
There's Derek.
Derek. Hey, Derek. Oh. Katie Smith. Oh, thanks, Mark. Sorry about that. I wondered if that was going to screw it up. I apologize. Our other computer was having major
issues.
Major
Hopefully
issues.
This one's better. Of course, we don't know.
Mr. Blonde, well, I don't know. We used StreamYard last week, but it didn't capture the chat. But now it looks like I'm capturing the chat from the old stream in this one. So I've still got some work to do, so forgive us. Oh, Mark, you don't have a picture? Wow. Okay. Well, I must be talking. Okay. You don't have picture or audio? All right, hold on. Okay. Can you guys hear me, though? Mark or Derek, can you guys hear us now?
Just audio.
Just audio. Alyssa, okay, y'all can hear us but not see us. This is crazy. I am so sorry, y'all. We really thought we had this all figured out this time. Let me try something here. It should all be on. It's the advanced settings. Hold on. Sources. Hold on. Did that change it? All right, this is kind of crazy. Is that on? Video capture.
Well, it says it is.
Nope, no. Didn't change it. Great. All right. Well,
they hear us.
I'm glad you guys can hear us, and I'm glad everybody is doing well. Not really sure how we're going to make this work now.
What are these over here?
No, it's going to be right here. Oh, Mr. Blonde said you see us now?
It's working. We see you.
Hey, all right. Can you hear us? Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I'm sorry, guys. All right.
Here
So
we
I
go.
owe you all a drink. Whenever I meet you, we owe you a drink.
That's
now.
right.
Sorry about that. Sorry for the confusion. So thanks for sticking with us. I hope everybody is doing well, and looks like we got a pretty good crowd going on here. All right. So we were going to talk about crazy travel stories, but the first thing, yay, thank you, Eliz.
Thank you.
The first thing I wanted to say, because I saw in the Walter's World group that Mark Finley posted about Italy starting to open up parts of it and whether or not that surprised us. And I would say that's a big shocker. And also, I'm sure everybody here, at least knows who Rick Steves is. I saw where he canceled all his trips now through August 15th. So, I think he's probably somebody who's got
The inside scoop.
got some knowledge. So I'm thinking that, any summer travel to Europe, at least for us, I think our decision is definitely going to be to not do it. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't know if any of you guys saw or heard that information or not, but hopefully you did. So, all right. I'm sorry. I'm a little flustered now after all that, but crazy travel stories. So I think probably the first one would be what we experienced in Barcelona.
Oh, yeah. Craziness.
Yeah. So
There were a couple things in Barcelona.
There were. So we were in Barcelona this fall when they started having the protest because some of the former Catalonian leadership folks were sentenced. And, if you know history of Spain at all, which we don't know well, but at one point Catalonia was a separate state, and there's some people who still want it to be. And these guys got convicted of, I know, like laundering money, embezzlement, something like that, misuse of funds.
Oh, and wait, let's see, Mark Finley. Can you lose the chat on the left side of the screen? It's from the old video and it's covering your face.
I can probably do that. Let me see. All right, I'm going to have to, let me see if I can edit it in stream here. All right, keep telling them the story while I'm talking.
Anyway, so they were sentenced, and we don't know the whole story behind all of it, but anyway, they ended up having protests all over the city while we were there, and while we were there actually spending time in the city, it wasn't as bad, but the day we were supposed to leave, the taxi driver couldn't even get to our hotel because they had the street of our hotel blocked. And we ended up having to drag all our luggage down to the corner, meet the taxi driver just to get in there and sit. And there were people literally laying down in front of the taxi cab and banging on things.
We were trying to get to the train station, and the guys, and I'm sorry, I was focused on that, so I may be repeating. But we got in the cab. Well, we couldn't get to the hotel. Had to meet him at the corner, and I've still got them because we had used an app to get the cab, and so it shows your route like an Uber would. And I mean, we did this big circular route, and it really probably ended up a half a mile.
Yeah, and we were in
from
there
our hotel.
How long were we in the cab?
45
minutes,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
So, and we
Mom's
got dropped
here.
off. Hello, Mama Spence.
So we got dropped off and had no idea where we were or how we were going to get to the train station.
No.
And they were talking about they were blocking the metro stations, and just all kinds of craziness was going on. So anyway, we stopped at a cafe to try and get Wi-Fi and figure out what we needed to do. And we finally, figured out what subway to get on, where to go, and all that. So we go and we start to get on. Well, we start to go down the steps to the subway.
Yeah, and I'm vertically challenged, as we all know, or most of us know on here. And we were going down the steps, and I was dragging my suitcase down behind me. Well, I was watching her. She was in front of me, and she was taking hers, and she'd throw it in front of her about 2 steps and walk down. And I thought, well, that's a good idea. Well, me not thinking, when you're short, that really doesn't do much, because I tried that. The very first time I tried it, I kind of lost my balance, and instead of falling down the steps, I ended up landing the suitcase wheel on my baby toe, and broke my toe. So,
but she didn't tell me this until, so we keep walking, and so the escalators, they had the escalators shut down. So, and
steps up and down everywhere.
Yeah, we probably picked the steepest, subway or the most amount of steps, and we had to walk really far to actually get to the line we needed to be on. And we come out, we get to the train station, and we've missed our train, so we had to buy tickets for the next train. There were all kinds of police and National Guard surrounding the train station.
Yeah, Mr. Blonde, it was a big ouch. A big ouch.
We finally get on the train to Madrid. And about an hour into it, Trace looks at me and says, I really think I might have broken my toe. And I'm like, what?
She's all confused.
I had no idea. So we get up to leave in Madrid, and she can not really stand up on it. She's like, yeah, it's broken. I'm like, great.
Well, it was okay while I was sitting on the train. But the moment I got it to stand up, I was like, oh, ouch.
Yeah. So, now we're at the Madrid train station. We've got to get to our hotel and figure out what's going on with her toes. So, yeah. We did. And it's actually in our... Yeah. It's in our
Madrid
the video. Yeah, the protest I know is in Barcelona, and I guess Madrid was in the first day video, I think. But we got there, and her toe was just purple and black. It was nasty.
Green,
So we taped it up. And
I had a skid mark on my tennis shoe.
She did.
On the top of my tennis
That's what
shoe.
I started calling her the rest of the trip, was skid mark. So
you guys are full of it.
Oh my God.
Did you call a tow truck?
Darian.
Crushed it like a tomato.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's not fun.
Jackie.
Wrists are tough.
Yeah.
Well, there's not really anything they can do for toes. So, like I said, we did the buddy tape thing, and and Trace, I will say, I give her credit. She really toughed it out.
Sorry, we left our dogs out tonight, so they're
you're hearing tail wagging. Sorry about that. So that was the first crazy story. And it was crazy to be in it. Luckily, Mr. Blonde, we got out. When we got to Madrid and started seeing the news reports, we were so happy we got out of there when we did, because the next day is when people just blocked off the whole entire interstate to the airport. Yeah. People were having to walk miles, pulling their suitcases to get to the airport.
They were setting things on fire.
Literal dumpster fires were going on. So, and we had no idea. We try and stay up on at least world news, but we didn't know anything about that going on when we were there or leaving. And we just timed it just right. And it was
crazy.
Literally one guy laid across the road in front of the taxi. And, we don't speak Spanish, so that was kind of crazy, because we didn't know what he was saying, and we were having to communicate, talking to Google Translate. And, basically he just finally said, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And just dropped us off.
He didn't even charge us, which was a good thing. Yeah. But he's like, I can't get you anywhere. I'm just going to have to drop you off. We had no idea where we were, Hi, Dad.
Yep. Hey, Terry Finley. All right. So I'm curious what you guys, I want to hear Jackie's story on how she fell and broke her wrist if she wants to share with us.
And she may not want to.
She may not. And also, can you guys confirm that the old chat is gone now? Is it gone, Keely? It is gone. Okay, sorry. So that was kind of crazy story number 1. 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then I would say after that, the next crazy story, what would you say the next one was?
Oh, we've had plenty of crazy stories.
I would say it's probably, yeah, you're gonna have to put them up.
Here, I'll get them. You go ahead.
So I would say the next crazy story was when we were in Ireland and we rented a car and we were driving to Sorrento, and the GPS didn't catch up with us, and I entered the LTZ zone, or low traffic zone. And there were all these one-way streets, which of course were narrow anyway, and we were in an SUV because we got an automatic, and those are typically bigger. So we're driving along trying to figure out how to get back to this main road to get to our hotel for the night. And everything's one way. And so finally I make this turn and we end up in this street, y'all, that I am not kidding you. There was this much room on either side of the car to get through the street. At one point I looked at Trace and I said, I don't think we're going to make it. And I couldn't back out either. So I really thought we were going to have to park the car and crawl out of the hatch and just leave the rental car at some random, goat trail of a road.
I don't know if you told them about the rental car itself, though, anyway.
No, I haven't told them that.
So if you've ever rented a car in Europe, you can tell they've been around in Europe. So we're inspecting the car, and the whole passenger side of the rental car looked like it had just been sideswiped. I mean, we couldn't believe it. And so they're like, okay, so we pulled over to this little inspection station where the guys were, and we're like, listen, we just got this and we didn't do this. And of course, everybody thought that we were returning our car
when we pulled it
with all the damage. So they were all standing outside their cars pointing and talking, and it was pretty bad.
It was horrible.
We drove it.
We drove it, and I will say it's probably a good thing because probably a mirror got swiped once or twice on that trip.
Maybe.
So but it was, you guys, I am truly not exaggerating when I tell you there was this much room. So when we finally get to the end of that tight alley, there was one road, and the only thing I could do was turn left. And as we turned left, there's an Italian couple on a motorcycle coming this way, and they started yelling at us in Italian. I don't know what they said, but
she waved at us and just kept going.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't nice. Probably something like, dumb Americans, one way, whatever. Yeah. But we did get out of there. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a crazy one.
Yeah.
So, and I was reading, Mr. Blonde said his friends was there in the student protest. Wow. That's crazy. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So, Nick, we were using Google Maps. It just didn't we were in the town, and it was just a little slow. So sometimes Google Maps just doesn't always catch up with us. And that when it didn't, we hit that LTZ zone and just it was bad. And yes, Liz, we do too. But literally, it was the entire side of this car was just all the way down the side.
Well, she was looking on the driver's side for anything, and then I went around to the passenger side, and I was like, oh my goodness. And we couldn't believe it. But,
we couldn't believe that they actually rented them like that.
They did.
It was crazy. I guess
they figure if it runs, what does it matter what it looks like?
It was absolutely crazy. So I want to look at this chat and see if we missed anything else. Do you want to tell them about our experience renting the car? Actually, Darian, you might appreciate this. This was in Munich when we were going to the castle.
Yeah.
Was it Neukenstein?
Anyway, you know the castle.
Neukenstein? I can't say it. All right, let's see. You tell them about that while we're.
So we go to pick up our rental car in Munich, and we stayed a few days in Munich and then just drove to different places. And she always makes sure, even though both of us know how to drive a manual stick shift, she always makes sure to try and book automatics just because of the hills and the traffic and and it's been, 20 years, 25 years since either one of us have driven a stick shift.
Because we're old.
Yeah. So we go to pick up the car, and all they had was a stick shift.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that. We thought we were getting an automatic. So we go to where the car is.
Yeah, so you go to the office, and then the car is in a garage 4 blocks away.
Yeah.
And you pay for it, you do all the paperwork, and then you go get in the car.
Yeah.
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 So we got in, and it was a stick.
Well, but we didn't know that. We get in, we're getting all situated. She's getting her seat and her mirrors adjusted. And she looks down and she goes, I won't tell you what she said, but she said it was a stick. I'm like, yeah, it is. So I'll let you tell the rest of it.
So, it took a minute for that muscle memory to come back, right? And this particular stick, first and third, were extremely close together. I mean, they were just very close together. So we're in this parking garage. I get us out of the garage, or I get us to the exit of the garage. I start to pull out of the garage, and we go, and then we kind of stall. And there's like this huge garbage truck.
Yeah, it's a garbage
behind
truck.
us. And,
on my side.
Oh yeah. And so
she's like trying to keep it from
I'm
stalling.
trying to keep it going. I'm trying to keep it from stalling.
And he wasn't slowing down.
And he just finally just lays on his horn, and I finally found first. And of course, at this point, I'm like, we start peeling out. She's like, wait a minute. So we get out of there, and we were actually going. We had dropped clothes off at a laundry, where you can drop them off and they do them for you. We were going to pick them up, and I told Trace, I said, okay, I'll get us to the laundry and get it back to the hotel, and then you've got to drive to the castle.
Yeah.
So
and I was in charge of the stick shift.
So then she did.
So we get to the parking.
We did good the whole way there. We're on the Autobahn. Of course, we thought we were going fast until everybody just started blowing our
and
doors
we're cruising right along, and we get close to the castle where you're supposed to park. All these people, and I slow down because there's like a crosswalk, and it's like the little town, and I go to slow down. Well, once again, first and third, real close together. And yeah, sure enough, it starts going
with all these tour buses around.
All these tour buses, people are looking at me. And of course, at that point, we just, started laughing about it. But yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, so that was kind of crazy. Eric Brown never driven a stick. Liz hasn't driven a stick. Yeah, they're really not much of a thing anymore. And Mr. Blonde said he used to live in Ireland. So we have been Cork, Dublin, of course, all over County Kerry, and we've been to Galway, Cliffs Moher. Then we were in Belfast and did Giant's Causeway and sort of that whole area. We actually did a Game of Thrones tour in February or early March, actually.
Yeah.
When all this hit, we were over there, and we're doing Northern Ireland, and then we came down through Galway back to County Kerry. So those are all the places we've been in Ireland so far. Yeah, Darian, it was crazy. But of course, the castle is gorgeous and, beautiful views. Yeah, Mark, I agree. I mean, I think everybody should know how to drive a stick. I mean, I think it's, and particularly if you're going to travel. I mean,
that's how I learned to drive. I learned to drive with a stick.
I did too. My first car was a stick. And I think I've got bad knees, so that's one of the reasons I don't like driving them. But I mean, we can if we have to.
Yeah.
We may get honked at a few times, but
yeah,
we can do it. No, we have not, Liz. We have not. Yes, Mr. Blom, we went to the Titanic Museum, Giant's Causeway, for sure.
We did the Carricker Reed
Rope Bridge. And we did Dark Hedges. If anybody's Game of Thrones fans, we did a tour that took us through the Dark Hedges, which were really cool.
And there were other things along the way where they filmed stuff, so that was pretty cool.
It's so hard to... yeah, I guess do they just not make any, do they not sell any stick shifts anymore?
Well, it's been a while since I've looked for one.
Yeah, I don't know. So let's see. What else have we got while they're talking? Or
mishap.
We thought it was awesome too. We spent a lot more time in the Titanic Museum than we expected to. I thought that was really
we didn't even know they had a little ride either.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. So, all right. So what's the next one?
So, the next one would be.
Well,
we've had so many. I mean,
this is just kind of stupid on my part. I don't know. Some of you know we used to have an RV, and she actually was a better driver than I was. And it wasn't the length, it was the width that always got me, and I always kind of drug my right side on the shoulder. So the first time we were in Ireland, I was driving, and we had rented a car, and I was fine for the most part driving on the left-hand side of the road, but I kept hitting the curb. I couldn't get the whip that she started calling me.
Of course, I'm over there, and I'm like, I'd be going curb.
We start taking turns. She said curb, yeah.
I'm like, oh, too late.
So that was my biggest challenge with that. And then the only other thing I can remember that happened when we were there on that trip is, for whatever reason, if I had to kind of make like a U-turn or pull into a parking lot,
several U-turns.
Turn around.
Turn around.
Well, no, I was going to talk about the time. Did you remember when we were in Waterville? So everything was fine. My daughter was with us that trip. And we had to turn around. So I pulled in this parking lot and pulled back out. And we're driving along. And I hear my daughter say something to me. But I thought she said, ask me if I could roll up her window. And I'm thinking, well,
we can roll up your own window.
And then she started saying it again, and her voice got higher, and then Trey started saying it. Well, what she was actually saying is, you're on the wrong side of the road. You're on the wrong side of the road. And we were coming like head on with this van. So, that was kind of crazy.
I started yelling. I'm like, you're on the wrong side of the road. Yeah. She's like, oh.
Something about U-turns got me. If it was the U-turns, everything else was fine. So,
Mr. Bond, how did you feel about roundabouts?
Well, you know what?
I didn't find them that hard.
No, everybody freaks out about those. Those were not nearly as hard as we expected it to be, at all.
They're still on driving automatics.
So. And Mallory, we were talking about Ireland. We were talking about Ireland mainly on this trip. So, it was crazy, Mr. Blonde. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
we were. So, fortunately, I don't think we left any damage on the rim on that.
I think we were good.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have quite a few roundabouts. Yeah.
Yeah, Liz, we do. Of course,
they just keep putting them in.
At that time of that trip, we were still living in Nashville, and Nashville has very few roundabouts. But Indianapolis, where we are now, we weren't. We were here. Okay, sorry, they're both correcting me. Anyway, we do have a ton of roundabouts here, but still going this way versus this way is different.
Yeah. Ryan, we've driven the rotaries in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, so there's a story,
for you.
So my daughter was looking at schools up near Boston, and we had gone up for a trip for her to visit some colleges, and we were going somewhere, and it was like, rush hour traffic, 5:00 in the afternoon, and we come up to this rotary in Boston. And it was a 2-lane rotary. And I'm, I don't know where I'm going. I'm in a rental car. Next thing I know, they have literally turned a 2-lane road into 6 lanes. And I am like right in the middle, have no idea where my exit is.
Of course, nobody's going to let you over.
Nobody, they love their horns in Massachusetts. Yes. They love their horns. So, yeah, that was we did finally make it out, but it was, that was a sort of a white knuckler. Yeah. For sure.
That's when everybody in the car just gets quiet.
Yeah. Oh, there's Jackie talking about her wrist. Fell to BMV as the view was so pretty. Oh. Oh, Jackie. I mean, that's not funny, but it is. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry you broke your wrist.
Yeah.
That would actually, that sounds like something we would do to each other.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if we didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, if we didn't see one another fall, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So let's see. Has anybody else got any? I'm wondering if anybody else has got any crazy stories.
Yeah,
I understand that one too, Jackie. Oh, Nader, worst roundabout. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have some.
We have a couple of those, particularly around Carmel.
Yeah,
there's
and
quite a few of
they've
those.
started doing these what they call clover leaves. And where you're driving on the left side of the road, and they just go around. We have one right up the overpass. I mean, they call them clover leaves, and they just like do a figure 8 almost.
Yeah, it's an exit, but they routed the traffic opposite, so it's kind of weird. So, yes, and we appreciate everybody, particularly all the Walters World folks being here. So, you want to talk about the RV?
Well, which one?
I think we were in Virginia, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. Well, as she said, of course, we're in the States, so we were able to use, Google Maps and navigate. And she's the navigator. I was the driver. And you can only go so fast in an RV.
Wait, and so just for you guys who don't know, it was a 38-foot motorhome, and we were towing a 4-door Jeep Wrangler behind it.
Yeah.
So,
and we thought we would take the scenic route, which was like the U.S. state highways.
Yeah.
We thought, well, it'll be okay. And we come into this small town, and it says truck route, and I'm like, maybe we ought to just go ahead and take the truck route instead of trying to take just to be safe. And she's like, yeah. So sure enough, and we're following trucks. Well, I felt like we were going to become the Flintstones before too long, because it's like we ended up on all these mountain grades, road. I mean, it was.
But I'm looking around going, oh,
it's beautiful.
This is the Poconos. Isn't that awesome? Look at them.
Yeah. Well, then she looked over and realized that she saw no more trees. She just saw the tops of trees. So, yeah, we were on top of the Poconos.
On the highest elevation. Yeah, in this RV. And it suddenly hit us.
Yeah.
That now
that we went up, you have to come back down. So, yeah, that was not a fun time.
No.
That was one of those times where she knew better than to talk to me.
Yeah. That was rough. I mean, we should have just stayed on the interstate. But I thought, it's a U.S. highway. It'll be fun. It's a truck route. Yeah, that wasn't so good.
Yeah.
Mr. Bond said, once in Saudi Arabia, while on religious pilgrim, we were charged an extra 10%. He only spoke Indonesian. So why were you charged the extra 10%?
Yeah, did we miss something?
Yeah.
Yes, so Liz, Carmel, they do have crazy back-to-back roundabouts.
Yep.
How long should I plan to visit the Titanic Museum?
Yeah, so Nick, I would say, 3 hours?
Yeah. If
I'd
you
say
really
at least
want to
3
take
hours.
your time and read everything and, all the artifacts and all that.
Yeah. My brother was saying toys shop. What?
Stupid.
Oh, different, just a language barrier issue, Mr. Blonde.
Oh.
Jackie, she's still talking about her fall. I got treated at the pharmacy in Ireland as they do. Yeah, no. I toughed it out from Wednesday till Saturday. Wow, that's pretty nice. Yeah. That's pretty good. That is the one thing that I will say. In Europe, you can go to the pharmacies or apothecaries, whatever they call them, wherever you are, and they will do a lot more than you can get here. I mean, you can obviously go talk to the pharmacists here, but they rely on those guys a lot more over there for diagnosis than they do over here, which I think it's great because it makes it, more convenient and accessible to everybody. But, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Mr. Blonde. Yeah, there are a lot of scammers, especially the taxi drivers. We ran into that once in Rome with the taxi driver.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in Rome, I don't remember where we were coming from, but we had him drop us off at near the apartment we had rented, and I had given him a 20, and he gave me change for a 10, and I said, no, I gave you a 20. Well, then he got, real belligerent and was kind of like in our face, and I was just like, okay.
And then he pulled out it. Of course, he had stuffed it down in his center console.
Yeah.
And when she said, no, I gave you a 20, he said no, and he reached down there and he just pulled out a 10 and said, this is what you gave me.
Which it wasn't. So, we just kind of got off of that.
What is your worst, I am never going there again moment?
So this is not, this was not anywhere in Europe, Darian. I don't think there's been anywhere in Europe that we've said we're never going again. But we did decide that we were going to climb Mount Washington.
Oh, yeah.
In the Jeep.
Yeah.
Which is in New Hampshire. I believe so.
Yeah.
And we were doing the New England, leaf trip. And we decided we were going to drive up this mountain, which I don't know what the elevation is or anything like that. But, they had vans and it's open, to the public to do it. So I thought, how bad could it be?
Yeah. Yeah, there were no guardrails. And
it was basically roads. If you've ever driven the Ring of Kerry in Ireland, or probably more like on the Dingle Peninsula, those roads, they were that size, two-way, literally off the side of a mountain, with no kind of rail whatsoever. And my hands. When we got to the top, it took me 10 minutes just to get my hands.
She was definitely white knuckling.
I was. It was.
And we did it. We got our bumper sticker and
picture.
We got our pictures, and then we said, no, we're not going to do it again.
Yeah. So that's probably the worst thing that we've ever done. Let's see, what else have we got?
What are some of your favorite stories from pubs in Ireland?
You know what, Liz?
We've been to some.
No, we have. They're all great. They're all great. I think for me personally, it's just talking to people and meeting them and just having conversations. There wasn't anything particularly crazy. We've certainly been and, we've had food, we've had drinks, everything's been great, but there's not just one, oh my God, this is crazy or this is incredible or, any of that. We just love going to the pubs.
Yeah, and no matter if you're in a pub or if you're in the grocery store in Ireland, everybody just talks to you. So,
yeah, they do. It's awesome. Jackie, Dingle Peninsula has the best seafood I've ever had. So, yeah, Dingle Peninsula is gorgeous. We love that area. I tell you, though, we found probably the best fish. I thought they were the best fish and chips. Trace actually had mussels.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that.
Well, go ahead.
If you like mussels or fish and chips.
And it's not in Dingle, but it was on that trip.
Yeah, it was in Galway.
Yes.
Galway. In Galway, there's a place called McDonough's. Not McDonald's. McDonough's.
McDonaughh.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh, just incredible incredible fish and chips. I don't know how their fries are like. They're just perfectly cooked, where they're like creamy on the inside, but they're crunchy on the outside. And it was just, I don't know, it was just perfect.
You know, and I'm a huge mussels fan. And I had mussels in Belgium when we were there. And I thought they were the best mussels I had ever eaten. Well, we went to McDonald's that night, and I thought, well, I'm going to get the mussels because I was a little over fish and chips because we'd had quite a few fish and chips. And those were definitely the best mussels I'd ever eaten. So just throw that out there if you're...
Yeah, and I agree, Jackie, Guinness, if you like Guinness, and you know, you have to do it at least once in... when you're in Ireland anyway. Yep. But we really liked a lot of the ciders in Ireland as well. I mean, that kind of became our go-to as well.
How many countries have you been to?
You know, Nader, I think somebody asked us that, and because we had a bunch scheduled this year and got caught in it. I think it's like 17.
Yeah, I want to say like 16 or 17.
I think that's about right. And it's been, you know, Mexico... Caribbean, Europe, and Australia, and I'm forgetting something. Well, that's it, probably. Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah. What is the one U.S. state you haven't been to that you'd like to go? So, I've actually got a couple of them. We haven't been to... Well, technically we have, but we haven't spent time in Utah around state parks. There's actually so out west, Mr. Blonde would be the ones I would say, like Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Utah.
And South Dakota.
South Dakota?
Yeah.
Oh, Black Hills is South Dakota, right? Those are the ones that neither of us have been to that we really want to go and spend some time in. Yeah. You know, it's just gorgeous out there.
Yeah. Leaving the hostel last year for an early flight to London.
I had to get airport. Oh, wow.
Right. Wow.
Wow.
I'm sure that was a challenge.
I had to go to the airport before I found a pharmacy. So you found a pharmacy in the airport, Nick, I'm assuming. Yeah, Means Travel's talking about oysters. Yes, so I like oysters. Tracey doesn't.
No.
So, and we had heard that the oysters in Galway, obviously, if you're, you know, in the right season, are awesome. But
well, I'll eat them
fried, or Rockefeller.
Yeah,
but not just
raw oysters.
Yes, she won't do that. So,
no, I had a bad experience one time with oysters, and ever since then,
yeah, not so good.
No.
Let's see. Okay, what else have we got? Oh, so you want to talk about Key West? Well, two things. First of all, just the process of getting that and renting those, and then what happened afterwards when we got back.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm sorry, I'm looking. So, yeah, we went to Key West one year. And, well, you know this. Why are you saying it, huh?
Oh, sorry. I'm reading. Sorry.
So, yeah, we were in Key West, and we decided we were going to rent scooters. And we were only there for a weekend because she was having some training where she used to work.
You know, I worked for AT&T at that time.
Yeah, and she was having some training in Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
And so I flew down for a few days, and we ended up driving from Fort Lauderdale to the Keys. And we thought, well, we'll spend the weekend in the Keys. So we get there. We decided we're going to rent scooters. So we go, and, you know, he had asked, have either one of you ridden scooters before? Well, when I was younger, I mean, I rode a little, like, you know, mini bike or whatever at my friends, you know. So I thought, well, you know, how hard can it be? So I'm like, oh, yeah. I've ridden this. He's like, okay. He's like, well, you go ahead and take this around the block and see how you do. And she was filling out all the paperwork. Well, so I get on the main road and I go to take off, and I almost sideswiped a car because I couldn't get the scooter to turn. Now, I think
this is as I'm handing them my credit card for the deposit. I'm like, you
know, and I think some of it had to do with my being vertically challenged. because I guess I couldn't balance it well enough. But we ended up renting them, and
I loved them.
Yeah, she loved them. She got really, really, really sunburnt because we didn't think about, sunscreen. And at that time, it wasn't that hot, but the sun was out and it was windy. So, yeah.
And so then we went to see, if any of you guys have been to Key West, we went to see, obviously, the sunset at Mallory Square. Mm-hmm. And they had this area for scooters to park. Mm-hmm. So we go to park, and she pulls in this parking space, and I pull right next to her, and I'm like, okay, we're good. Didn't think anything about it. And then, like, a month later in the mail, I get a $25 ticket from Key West for a parking violation. And they said my front tire or my back tire? Yeah, I think they actually sent a picture of it.
Yeah, they sent, like, a picture of it. And one of the tires was just barely on the yellow line. And so, yeah, I got a $25 ticket for that. On my scooter.
Yeah, like months later, and we're like, what is going on? So that was a lot of fun. Let's see, what else have we got? Well, I saw something.
If anyone needs Utah recommendation.
Well, Finley's, buy Finley's if you're gone. Mr. Blonde is asking about Utah. It probably does have the Christmassy thing, Mr. Blonde. You may be thinking of the choir there in Salt Lake City. But Utah does have great, I don't know about skate parks, but great natural landscape for sure. Mache, due to delayed flights and changed carriers, we arrived in San Juan after our original carrier with our luggage locked up. Hotel. Oh my gosh.
Wow. That was fun.
Why would they have given away your room if you had reserved it? That's kind of crazy.
It was early on a Sunday morning, and everything else was closed in Dublin. Only pharmacy was available. Okay,
that's Nick. Yeah. Okay. So Liz, if she's got info on Salt Lake City. No, Darian, she didn't sideswipe anything that trip. Maryland, I've been to Maryland. Obviously, there's some cool stuff there, and you're right by DC if you want to see that history. South Cali, gorgeous area. Okay, Eliz is saying Park City. Yeah, I don't know who does the Christmassy stuff there, Mr. Blonde.
Yeah,
but maybe Eliz will know that. So yeah, Mache, I mean, why would they give your room away? Oh, I'd be mad.
That's crazy.
I'd be really mad. Well, so the other thing on their last trip, we were flying Iberia from Madrid to Paris.
I don't remember.
Wasn't that Iberia that we got so upset with?
No, that was
Yeah, it was Iberia.
No, it wasn't. No.
Anyway, whatever airline we were flying, somehow we got tagged for an extra security check, but at the check-in counter, not in security. And we use miles and points sometimes, and I had bought those particular tickets on the Amex Platinum for the 5 times points. But I don't always travel with the Amex Platinum, depending on where we're going and what we're doing, because it's not accepted. Amex is just not accepted everywhere in Europe. It's getting better, but it's not accepted everywhere. So I just didn't have it with me. And that was the security check, was they wanted to see my card. And then as it turned out, no, that was not that card. I was thinking it was the one of yours, but we'll tell that story later. Anyway, I didn't have the card, and I mean, they just went on and on and on and telling me that my ticket wasn't going to be valid and we couldn't make this flight. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've checked in. Everything's confirmed. The card's gone through. And they asked to see something of mine showing that card number, and I pulled up my Amex app and all that, and they said none of that was good enough. So we went round and round, and only because I just continued to stand there and not just say okay and walk away, finally a supervisor came over and helped us, but then had the audacity to tell us that we needed to hurry or we were going to miss our flight.
Well, it was something with my ticket.
And they didn't, well, it was still on that card.
Yeah.
And they didn't know if they could check our bags or not, and our bags were too big for carry-on. So anyway, it was just a horrible, horrible experience, and we literally made it to the plane with like 2 minutes before they closed the door, which is the closest we've ever cut that.
Yeah.
Ever. So that was kind of crazy.
Let's try Supermax in Ireland.
No, Nick, we haven't done that.
I didn't even see any of those.
But I don't know. Nick, no. We didn't, but we try to hit the pubs and do local food when we can. Mache, National Holiday, and oh wow.
Yeah, we definitely carry and clothes in our carry-on.
Yes, we always do that. But we had not even been allowed to check in our bags until we got the whole ticket thing straightened out. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's the last. I mean, it's crazy. It's just odd that this happened, and when you hear it, I don't know how it happened on the same trip, but when we did our trip last fall, we were going to Berlin was our first stop. We flew into Heathrow, and then we went Heathrow to Berlin. So we carry phones that actually have a compartment for credit cards and driver's license. And we had called a cab. We had made it to London the night before, stayed in a hotel right there at Heathrow, or close to Heathrow, and then we were in a cab to go from Heathrow from the hotel to the airport. And I used an app for it, probably Cabify, probably.
Git.
Oh, Git. Yes, Gett. And we get out of the van, and we had not even made it inside, and I start reaching for my pockets, going, oh my gosh, where's my phone? Well, of course, the taxi driver was gone.
Yeah.
She didn't have the app. We didn't have data on her phone, only on mine, so I had to get Wi-Fi signal on her phone, download the app, log in as me, send a message, and then they called the Git people, and I had to give them all the information. They gave me the phone number for the driver. I called him, and he found the phone, thank goodness.
Left it sitting on the back seat.
I'd left it sitting there. He found it. But remember, we're at the airport to catch a flight now to Berlin, and he was already halfway back to London. So we made arrangements for him to come back to the airport and drop it off, but he said it was going to be 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and that was going to be too late for us to get checked in because I wasn't really sure we wanted to check in until we got the phone because it had credit cards. Obviously, I still had my passport on me, but it had driver's license, credit cards. So we took a chance and went on and checked all of our bags in and waited for him to show up. And, I mean, he got there, had the phone, met you. I don't even know how that went down because I was still trying to get everything done at the counter.
Yep.
And we made it in plenty of time. And I just don't even know how. I mean, we just felt like we were so super lucky, and using an app obviously allowed us to be able to track it down rather than just flagging a random, cab down. So we're like, okay, we dodged a bullet. That's great. That's awesome. We get on our flight. We go to Berlin. 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. 2 days later, and some of you may have already seen this.
If you've seen the video, yeah.
We're in a cab, and this was one that we just flagged down because the map kept saying that there was a cab stand, a taxi stand close to where we were, but we couldn't find it. So we just flagged one down on the street, and he said, I can't. He says, I'm going to have to take you to the actual taxi stand because he was about to run out of petrol. So we're like, okay. He's like, but I'll take you there, no problem. We're like, okay, great, thanks. So it was kind of a cluster when we got there. He takes us to the taxi stand. He explains to one of the guys there what's going on with the other cab drivers. And so we get out and, get in the other cab and take off. And I realized I didn't have my phone. And I always made sure I kept it in my front pocket, and I always would check my pockets. But we had used my phone because it had the name of the place we were going or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something, yeah.
And so I had pulled it out, and I guess when he got to talking to us, I just set it down in the seat and didn't realize it. Yeah.
So random cab.
No receipt. He didn't even charge us.
Random side of the road, didn't charge us. So, we're freaking out. We're in this other cab at this point, and we ask if he happened to know the cab driver that dropped us off, and of course he didn't.
Yeah.
And then, the whole night just got more complicated because we were going to this restaurant that we had seen that we really supposedly was great. Well, the address we had for it was not the restaurant.
No.
It was like some laundromat or dry cleaners or something. So we're like, okay, we said, just take us back to our hotel. So he takes us back to the hotel, and we stayed at the Park Inn in Berlin, right on Alexanderplatz. If any of you guys have been to Berlin, it was our first trip there. We felt like, it would be super convenient for public transportation. We knew it was obviously close to a lot of the sites. So anyway, we get there, and super, super props off to their staff because they were so helpful. But
they were.
Tell them
and obviously, we don't speak German, so some of these places that we would have to call, because they had us calling different cab companies to see, because I had nothing other than the location that he picked us up at and where he dropped us off. That's all I had. I didn't have his name, no kind of, cab number, driver number, nothing.
And I guess it was like 3 or 4 main cab dispatch places in the city.
So they helped us and called, some of the companies to talk to them. And we even had to go to the police station there off of Alexanderplatz. And because because I had my driver's license in it, they consider that like a passport. So I had to go and report it lost, and which they were super friendly, helpful, and we called Berlin has a lost and found. We called the lost and found. But unfortunately, the day we called, they were closed.
But the one dispatcher thought you were joking. And
I had one dispatcher thought I was joking, and I don't know, and she hung up on me.
And that's when one of the receptionists called and obviously spoke in German to her, and they.
So we just chalked it up to, everybody had where they could reach us, and we thought, well, it's a cell phone in Berlin, so.
Well, it was a cell phone, it was credit cards, it was driver's license, but here's what she's not telling you guys, is that phone, literally we got it a day before we left the country.
We did.
So brand new. It was a
brand new phone.
Brand new iPhone.
Yeah. If it was an iPhone, it's nice to... Yeah, well, we don't have... On my phone, we don't have the data.
Yeah, we don't use data on her phone. We just keep the data plan on mine, and so hers is...
Usually on airplane mode.
Yeah, so we couldn't do that. You're right, Liz. Normally that would be the best thing. So...
Yeah. So, I thought, well, I can do without my phone, and, so we leave the next day, get on the flight. We're sitting there on the flight, on the plane, and this guy comes up and he asks her name. And so she's like, okay. And he looks at me and he says, and what's your name? And so I'm looking at him like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And so I give him my name, and then he starts smiling, and he pulls out my phone with a message on a piece of paper. So they found me at the airport
on
our flight. We were sitting on the plane waiting to take off, and he brings me my phone. And it's a note from the taxi driver with all his information on it, how I can reach him. Open it up, everything's still in there. I mean,
Yep.
it was amazing.
And on the backside, it had, her name and flight number.
Yeah,
and
it had
seat
my
number
name and my flight number.
So
they have a way of finding it.
Definitely some German efficiency going on in Berlin.
Yeah.
I'll say that, and a whole lot of honesty too. So, of course, at that point, we'd already canceled the cards, and I put a temporary suspension on the service on the phone, and all of those things. But we got it back, and so that was it was super crazy. I mean, I
literally almost started crying.
She did, and everybody on the plane heard it. And they were all, like, yeah. So it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Let's go back. Michelle, that is why I carry. Yes, we do. Check out John Pennekamp in the Upper Keys.
Which airline? I can't remember the name of that airline. It was not Iberia. It was another one, and everybody's complained about it.
I really do think it was Iberia, but okay. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I think it was Iberia, but
yeah.
Jackie, yeah. So Tracey has been to Australia. I have not.
I have been to Australia. I was in Brisbane and spent a little time in Sydney, but I was a lot younger then and
way before the channel.
Way before the channel, no and not videos. Much. I mean, didn't look as travel. I don't know. So I really don't have much on it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was.
If you can go to Australia, go. I mean, I recommend it.
Yeah, it's a long flight. Though.
It is a long flight.
And if we had, I don't know why we went to Tahiti. So we were on the main island of Tahiti and Moorea and Bora Bora. I guess about a year and a half ago. And really, if we had thought more about that,
we would have made a stop.
We would have gone to New Zealand and then probably on to Australia, but at that point we were just super excited to be going to Bora Bora, and that was a really really fun trip. Also, I would definitely recommend that if you're looking for a really different splurgy kind of vacation. French Polynesia is incredible. The people are so friendly.
Yeah,
and it's just.
Laid back,
different, different than a trip to Europe or somewhere like that.
And those people are happy.
Oh,
they are happy people.
Yeah. My retirement trip is Australia. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, we're definitely putting that back on the list. I don't know when, because we want to go to New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have a couple of folks from New Zealand that are usually on the chats. On Wednesdays or Saturdays. Australia would be really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, my friend. And I never flew level.
They're asking no, it wasn't that.
I really do. I will look.
Yeah, we'll have to look.
But I'm almost positive it was Iberia. It was a Spanish Airlines, and we were flying them out of Madrid. We've been on Vueling, Megan, and actually Vueling was fine. We didn't have a challenge with them at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Mr. Blonde said something. That's who I believe it was Iberia.
It doesn't sound. That doesn't sound familiar to me, but that doesn't.
But I make
anything.
all the reservations.
Yeah, she does. I just go, okay, which flight are we getting on?
Yeah. It was Iberia.
Anyway, we didn't like it.
Well, it was just, and I get it, but I offered them everything I could in terms of, security form. I even had Amex. I even started calling the Amex Platinum concierge line so that they could, talk to Amex to verify that I was who I said I was. It was just a really bizarre experience.
Yeah.
Darian says, "Would love to." Yeah, New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah, haven't been to New Zealand, Australia. Like I said, if you can go.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. I don't know if we've got. Does anybody have any more questions for us? We've been going about an hour, and I know we were late. Make sure we didn't miss anything. So, Michelle, was it Puerto Rico or Costa Rica you were in? Was it Puerto Rico? Okay. I was just kind of wondering where that was. IAG group with the British Airways. Yeah. I haven't even heard of SCAT.
Yeah.
Air Croatia to Croatia last May. Wow. I haven't heard of that a lot either. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, but Vueling we've flown EasyJet, we've flown Aer Lingus, Virgin, British Airways, Iceland Air, Delta.
What's the
Oh yeah, we did the coming back from one trip from Paris. We did, and I'm not gonna say it right, so you guys don't laugh. It's La Company is basically what it is.
Sorry,
but it's
C it means to travel. Thank you.
Bye y'all. La Company. It's an all business class flight, and it flies from Orly to Newark, I think.
Newark.
Yeah, Newark. And it wasn't bad. I mean, for the price, it's like there's only like 74 seats, and they're all business class. And I think were they completely left flat on that one? I want to say they were. So there's a lot of interesting airlines out there. I don't know, after all this, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what airlines are still around and what services and flights they offer. LOT is the Polish airline. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know about that one. Okay. Means travel's gone. Yep. Okay. Well, so we've been going for about an hour, y'all, and I sincerely apologize to anybody who was on here, when we had to restart the stream a couple of times.
Yeah, I think we may have lost some people.
I promise that we will get that figured out better for next time. Just our first PC was the audio. Something was going on with the audio.
I hope this one's better. Nobody said anything.
Yeah, hopefully this is a lot better than the first one because it had a bad background noise. But we appreciate all you guys being here so much, and we will be here same time next week. And a lot of you guys, I'm sure we will see Wednesday in Walter's World or Thursday with Means to Travel. So thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.
See ya.